Have another beer, buddy.
Chatty chat chat chat. I think that they probably said that being shorter is advantageous.
Well, they need to teach me then. There you go. So we had to poke a little fun at him. Call you Ginger Swag.
Yeah. If you weren't bowlers, what would you have liked to have done instead? Anything else. Literally anything else.
That's a great answer.
The horse is so dead that it's on some kid's school project in a landfill already.
And there you have
that one before.
No. We'll talk about that one.
Terrible idea.
What's up?
What's going on?
You know, same stuff, different day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was looking at breweries today in Tulsa because I could never remember the name of that place that we went to. And then I figured it out, but I didn't realize how many actual breweries Tulsa has.
There was like 5 of them just right there in a little.
Yeah.
And I think we just went to the. Well, my brother had recommended a couple of them, and then we ended up that other one just because it was next door to the one that he.
They both had phenomenal beer. So
yeah.
The one was cool that we went to where Angel and Raylan were playing the ring catch game.
Yeah, that was Cabin.
Yeah, Cabin Boys. That's the one for the life of me. I could not figure out what the heck it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Cabin Boys.
Star Wars character sells hot dogs.
What was it? Admiral Snack Bar. Oh my gosh. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Always get a clap if it's a good one.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, everybody, cycle in here, filter in. We're late getting it shared. I apologize.
Yeah, I got it scheduled super late. So, of course, there was really nothing to spend half the day trying to figure out what to talk about, and just figured out that there is nothing to talk about.
So we might as well just BS a little bit.
Yeah. We figured we'd take some questions from the. And I got to bring the. I didn't even get the bowling ball art stuff down here. It's still in the box. I got to unpackage all of it, and I figured I'd just do that while we were doing this.
Yeah, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Just know you can count on us every other Wednesday. We'll be here, even if we don't get it shared right away.
Mm-hmm.
Same place, same time.
Yeah, and even if we have nothing to talk about, of course, we could talk about string pins again, but I think everybody's kind of tired of that. They've got those several regionals here in a row that are on the string pins, and people are kind of tired of talking about that. And then Jared Raymond has been putting up a bunch of stuff lately, and one of his takes people had some issues with, and he was talking about how some of the stars like 30, 40 years ago couldn't compete in today's PBA, and there's a million different ways to look at it.
Oh yeah.
And he was on Beef and Barnsey yesterday or the day before or something talking about it a little bit. And I watched a little bit of it. They had a nice conversation about it. But
I saw he was on there the other day, but I didn't get a chance to listen. So
yeah, people have kind of talked about that, and they just kind of chase their tails in circles.
Yeah.
And nothing else really going on. The tour doesn't start for another couple months. I might look at the schedule for next year and see where they're at and when they're there.
For what again?
Look at the PBA schedule for next year.
I don't think it's out yet, is it?
I didn't remember it being out, but
maybe it is. I thought I looked the other day and it wasn't out.
Yeah, it says 2024 PBA schedule. I don't see anything about the 2020. It's kind of late because it starts the first one last year was started January 9th. We're like 2 months off of that, like exactly 3 months, I guess. But still, I'm kind of surprised that we don't have anything yet.
Yeah, I am too. Maybe they're working on good stuff, something other than more of these made-for-TV shows. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking. Mike, is there anyone in Topeka? I'm in Topeka. Is there anyone who puts on any clinics in our area? Negative.
Not any clinics.
Yeah.
Not really. It's not really a clinic town. You've got to go somewhere else for that.
Kansas City might be your closest bet, but I'm also a Topeka guy, so I can answer that. So,
Yeah.
and I actually bowl in Topeka. Torture, but I do.
How do I get my arm up when it comes to finishing my swing as do you professionals do well? Also, would it be the right thing to do for me to start my Arsenal League night with Phase 2 IQ Tour and finish in the pitch black? I don't ever think that League you need to, use urethane very often. It's not like a natural step down from something. If you have to end the night at urethane, then you got problems. It's not just urethane isn't kind of like a natural step down. It's like a natural or normal ball down. It's just not something you should need or get into on a house shot unless it's just awful.
I've been on one of those a few times. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I second that. So it must be, if you're having to get into urethane game 3, that must be rough. That's not a knock on you by any means. It's just, yeah. I think it's just the regional schedule is out. Yeah, I think the regional schedule is out. I think they're adding more of those in there, but.
Yeah.
I do use it as my spare ball too. Well, that's okay. You can use there's nothing wrong with using urethane as a spare ball. There's nothing wrong with using urethane, period. It's just it's not ideal for house conditions.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have to be using urethane in league, either there's problems with the conditions or problems with you. Just to put it, I used to throw. God, it was one of the worst things ever when I was super jacked up bowling as a righty. I bowled with Eric Topham and Rhino Page in Linehan, and I was so screwed up I was throwing plastic because I could not react. It just wouldn't get down the lane. Everything was screwed up, and I couldn't pry it off my hand and whatever else. And after about 6 weeks of it, this was a competitive scratch league, and I'm throwing plastic. And one day, Rhino I was standing up on the approach about to throw it. And he's like, okay, no more plastic. And so he took the ball away from me and he said, throw something else. And it actually worked. I had to, it's like it was just kind of a crutch for a while.
What are you drinking on, by the way?
Some Aberfeldy. Angel got me a bottle of this. It was on Vern special a couple months ago. It's a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. It's solid. It's not special, but it's solid.
I'm just drinking a cheap whiskey. It's something I like to sip on that doesn't break the bank. So same thing I had last time around.
Yeah, I kind of spoiled myself a little bit because I've got some bottles or I had some bottles of nicer whiskey, and I'm like, you know what, I just don't want to get through these very fast. And I think I'm graduating into more refined tastes or something like that, because I used to like the stuff I don't like the rot gut, like the bad stuff. I would like the good stuff, but the stuff that would just punch you in the mouth, like whenever, this is really smooth, and I'm like, well, yeah, you can't taste it. I don't want to drink stuff like that. And then I got some Johnny Walker Blue Label, and I'm like, this is good, but it just doesn't have that punch. I wouldn't pay much for a bottle of this stuff. And then Mr. Bill got me a bottle of 16-year Aberlour.
Is that what you're drinking on now?
No, this is the Aberfeldy.
Aberfeldy, that's right. Okay, close.
But he got me a bottle, and that's the other. It's like, man, this is a really. I understand why it's special, but it's just too smooth for me. Then there was one day that I was just sipping on something. I'm like, it's just so silky, and I don't know, it was like a flip switched or something. And then all of a sudden, I'm a whiskey snob now, and so the sharper stuff, I'm like, yeah, it's a little bitey, but it'll do. It's okay.
I haven't had a good glass of scotch in a while. I could go for a little glass of scotch.
Yeah, well, I drank all the good scotch, so the Blue Label's gone, the Aberlour's gone.
Of course. No, it's just been, I can't tell you the last time I had scotch, but it's been a while. I really like it. It's nice to switch back and forth from that and whiskey every once in a while. Mm-hmm. Amanda got me a T-shirt the other day. I haven't worn it yet. I should have worn it during this, but Cool Wick, wanted to wear my Cool Wick stuff. It says freedom and whiskey, and it's great. So definitely should have worn it. Maybe I'll do it for another show. But yeah, keep firing questions in here. We'll get to them. That gives us something in the chat to look through, and we will poke through them as we go. There will probably be some rabbit trails in here and there, but
yeah, I'll go get the box of the bowling stuff.
Upgrade to moonshine if you want to punch. Moonshine is. I tell you what, there's a place in Branson. Have you tried the moonshine in Branson at the whiskey or oh gosh, what was the name of that place?
Yeah, when we were down there for for Springfield, and I think it was me and Heath that were me and Heath and Colin that ended up in the moonshine place
at the landing.
On the landing doing the tastings and whatever.
Oh,
and so that was a good bit of fun there.
They have some really damn good flavored moonshine.
Yeah, they do. I was surprised, and the regular stuff, just the straight up moonshine, was a whole lot better than I expected it to be.
I agree 100%. You think it's gonna like punch you in the mouth, but it doesn't. It's punchy, but you can drink it.
It was good. So why do some people blow in their thumb hole before they throw? Homer got this down, blowing the thumb hole to make it a bit tacky. Yeah.
Yep.
For some people that have drier skin, it's just really hard to hold on to the ball. If you blow in the hole to put a little bit of moisture in there to give yourself a little bit of something to give some skin friction. That's an engineering term that they use. And it's just, you want a little bit of skin friction so that you can actually hold on to what you're trying to hold on to without ripping the shit out of it.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I saw your video of one of the newer balls.
Mm-hmm.
The Radical one. I can't remember the name of it. The No Doubt. That ball looks really good.
Filthy.
Looked really good.
Yeah, that one. Filthy.
I meant to say something to you about that pre-show, but that's that ball looks sick.
Yeah, it is coming to league tomorrow night. So is.
I have no doubt. The first part of the video, you threw one, and you're like, yeah, that's going sideways.
Yeah.
And the ball just shimmed. I was like, okay, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, that ball's pretty sweet.
We actually have a tournament coming up, so we can talk a little bit about that here in a few.
Yeah, Tulsa. I'm gonna go grab the box really quick.
Okay. Yeah, we've got Tulsa coming up in 2 weeks, which is an annual. For those that don't know what that tournament is, most of us do in here, but it's an annual team singles doubles bowl weekend thing. We have a good sized group of us goes down there. Luke goes, obviously. I go. James goes. Trevor Bumgarner, Zach Wilkins. Most of you know who Zach Wilkins is. He bowls with us. And so we go down there and have a good time. Tulsa is a fun little tournament to bowl. It is at Broken Arrow this year for all 9 games. In the past, it's been Andy B's, which is like super, super friction. And then you go to Broken Arrow. It's a totally different animal. But I'm excited that it's at Broken Arrow for all the sets. I know some aren't, but and we're 4-man teams instead of 5. I do like the 5 from 4 switch.
I heard it's going back to Andy B's next year because they're doing the construction right now with the axe throwing and whatever else.
Ugh.
And so they just didn't want to host it while they're doing all of that stuff with all the construction going on. And so, this is just a temporary 1-year thing, which I thought, hey, this is great. I never have to bowl Andy B's again. I was wrong.
They took out so they were on the high end, and I heard they took out I don't know how many pairs. I want to say it was 4 pairs they took out.
Yeah, I heard it was 8 lanes. So
8 lanes? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a good chunk you're taking out, unless they're going to start having us bowl in the recreational area, as I call it, where there's TV screens and all that.
And they might. That's not a bad idea because I never see them using any of that while we're actually bowling there.
Hey, I won't argue. They can just turn on some college football. I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's fine
just
with me.
Bowl. Yeah. Works for me.
I don't throw plastic anymore, but I might have to take a plastic ball for.
I hate bowling at Andy B's. I know some of our higher speed Rev 8 guys really like bowling at that place, but God, it's awful. It's awful.
Pizza
What
cutter.
you got here?
Pizza cutter you could kill somebody with. I think this one's even heavier than the one that I've got.
We've shown a lot of this stuff before, but it looks like you've got some new stuff in here.
Yeah, we got some new stuff for the Doggo Fundraiser, and he sent some prices in here too, because this is not something that this is not like a regular business. This is kind of a hobby on the side, and he's a craftsman, and so he puts a lot of care and whatever else into this, and he doesn't want it to be like okay, well here's a bottle stopper for $20 or something like that.
All right.
He's got a lot of big equipment. Takes a lot of time. Takes a lot of know-how. He puts a lot of effort into it. And so, let's see, pizza cutter. This is made out of a High Road T. I think this is, last time he made some stuff for us, he did save some of the stuff back. I think he made a High Road T bowl. I think you can see some of the, so you just see some of the, you put the pin in there too, and you can see some of the shimmers. It's kind of a blue and silver and whatever else. And the head on this pizza cutter weighs like 80 pounds.
Yeah, it's legit. Those things are, I mean, they can hurt somebody.
And he does also, it's not like the pizza cutter is just glued to the thing or whatever. It comes with a screw in here so that you can actually unscrew it and clean the head without damaging the base or whatever.
That's
and
cool.
So this is tooled really well. But yeah, this has to be a pound and a half, 2 pounds, just the head of this thing by itself. I use my pizza cutter every chance I get.
My favorite has to be the bottle opener. I think the bottle opener is sweet.
Yeah, the bottle openers are sick. But basically what you do is his email address is in the description. And so if you want to have a bowling ball of yours that's just sitting around collecting dust, maybe it's nostalgic and you want to do something with it, you send it to him. He'll cut it up and fashion some things like this. And again, these are nice. This isn't like you go in and spend $20 on a pizza cutter. So the estimated value on the pizza cutter here is $125. But it's just the amount of, and he has to splice, the bowling balls don't naturally come in like a handle shape. And so he's got to cut everything up. He's got to mold it together. He's got to finish it. He's got to polish it. He's got to install the screw parts in there and whatever else. And so just the craftsman time alone, it's one of those things where, if you go and get somebody to work on your car and they have to change a air filter that takes them 2 hours to get to or something, it's having the tools and the know-how and whatever else to get in there and get it changed. And so it's not necessarily it's a little different than, just having something kind of mass produced. So
yeah, I mean, it's this thing's legit. Does that one, I can't remember if the High Road T did or not. Overseas ball. Did it have a scent? Can you still smell it?
Yeah, it smells like pixie sticks.
That's cool.
Actually, it's supposed to be Caribbean Cooler. I think it's pixie sticks.
That's really cool, though, that even after the finishing process and everything like that, if it is a scented ball, you can still smell it as if you're sitting there smelling the bowling ball.
Yep, this is a High Road bowl.
Oh,
just smelling it. And this is the cool thing about these is that the High Road is significantly thicker than most other balls, and so thicker shelled balls are easier to work with. But yeah, this is a bowl made out of a High Road.
It's pretty cool.
You've got some of the core in there too, and yeah, the High Road is one of the best smelling balls ever.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of mixed berry scent, and you can see the sparkle and the shimmer, and yeah, it smells great.
Also, before I forget, also want to give a shout out to everybody in Florida right now. If there's anybody watching in Florida, please be safe and take care, because I know what you guys are going through down there is awful. So
yeah, I need to send Cliffy something and see how.
Yeah, see how they're doing. What part of? I can't remember what part of Florida they're in. They're Tampa. I don't know if they're Tampa
or I can't remember. But yes, this is extremely heavy bowl. This is several pounds. And
Yeah,
all of
those
these things,
cool.
all these things, by the way, are gifts to give away for our doggo fundraiser. Every year in December, we have a fundraiser, and all the proceeds go to a local, primarily dog rescue, but they do some cats and some other things too. But it goes to Positive Tales, and I think the link to that's down in the description below too, if you want to see who you're donating to. But he sent us all this stuff. He spent weeks and whatever just donating all kinds of his time so that people that donate to the cause can end up with some really cool stuff here. So
yeah, we always get lots of cool stuff for it too. So do we know the date of the doggo fundraiser yet this year?
I think it's going to be the second. It's normally the second weekend, and I think it's probably going to be the second weekend again, whatever that is.
So that would be the 14th.
Yeah, we're trying to schedule around the KC tournament stuff, the December case, because normally they have like the points tournament the first weekend, then they skip a weekend, and then they have the grand finale, and then they start doing the beginning of the year stuff, and then whatever else. So, they have
however much they're going to do going forward, we don't know. But
yeah,
I mean, they've said what they're doing, but you never know. Things change all the time.
Yeah, they're going to slow down a little bit because,
I get it.
There are too many tournaments, I think, and it's just a little bit much for people spending a couple $100, 3-4 times a month, and so they're going to cut back to where they were with the intermittent special stuff plus the holiday stuff, and they'll still get them to like 20 tournaments a year. They're still going to be busy,
and they're still going to do the mixed. I think you said they're still doing the mixed doubles and then the women's tournament. So
and then
the over 50 under 50, yeah.
That and the Hirschman thing, and then of course the KC Open in September. So,
yes, sir.
Would a ball finished at 4,500 or any of the motive balls have a noticeable change in ball reaction, considering that's where lane shine typically settles? They shouldn't. Now you're going to have the cover's going to break in, even if it kind of stays around the same surface. I think that's a smart place to put it because, yeah, you're not going to have as much of a drop off in ball reaction, but brand new balls are crispier most of the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you'll notice they'll smooth off a little bit, but you shouldn't notice as big of a difference. I know you guys have touched on it a bit, but now that we're 7 weeks into Scratch League, how are you guys feeling both personally and for your teams?
I could be better. I think I'm at 219, just right around 220, which it's I've left pins out there. I haven't thrown it very good, especially since I got back from Wichita. I've been mechanically really bad, but I finally made some better shots last night. Things started feeling a little better, but team-wise, we were rough to start the year. All the way found ourselves all the way at the bottom, but here all of a sudden, blink of an eye, in 3 weeks, we are climbing right back up the sheet. So we've gone 22, 25, and 28 the last 3 weeks. So
they'll get it done.
That will get it done, and then we'll start moving up the board a little bit. So I actually really like my team. I have a lot of fun bowling with them. And hopefully we just keep on climbing the board a little bit. Actually, I think it was you guys. You guys gave us a thumping pretty good the week two, 3. And then it just seemed like a couple of guys like Ronnie and then Austin, like I said on this before, they've never bowled anything like that. And you could tell that they were pressing a little bit and a little nervous. Now they're finally starting to loosen up. You can see them making better shots consistently, especially Ronnie. Ronnie Bell has just been really good these last few weeks, and I don't think it's going to change. I think he's just going to – only confidence is only getting better. So how about you?
Yeah. We've been ridiculously consistent. We've been, aside from James taking 20 from us, we've been between 21 and 26 the entire year. And it's really kind of funny to look at the standings because – I think we were in 4th last week, and then we got 20 again. But the top 5 teams are all by themselves, and then the rest of the teams are all by themselves. There was like a 20-point gap in between 5th and 6th, but from 6th through 17th, the bottom team is 20 points behind the next team. But there was only 20 points separating 6th and 17th.
Yeah.
I think 6th had 95 points and 17th was 75 points. So, and then from 6th up to 5th went from 95 to 118, and then everybody from 5th up is above 115.
Yeah,
And
I think we were in 15th, I think. 15th or 16th after those 2 good point weeks, and then we got another 25 last week. So we should continue to climb back up.
Yeah, we got to.
You're in 4th, you said?
What? Yeah, we were in 4th. I think that all the top teams up there. Well, I think James was up there, and Tyler and Jesse, and they all did fairly well. So I think that we're still just kind of in that group. We've gotten through James. I think we've gotten through James and Bo as far as the top teams or the top points teams so far. We've gotten through James and Bo. We're bowling Jesse tomorrow night, and so we'll see how that goes. And then Tyler Gromlovitz is the other one. I think they're in 1st. So yeah.
You want to talk about a guy that's on an absolute heater? Bo McVeigh is just bowling really, really, really good right now.
837.60 will get her done.
I mean, and didn't he snap Jaden off by a stick for high series so far?
He did. Yeah, 835.
I mean, he's just been bowling really, really good. Luckily, we got them out of the way. They took it to us pretty good there the other day. So, it was one of the weeks he had like 780, 790. I wasn't there. I was just going off of what Tobias told me. But yeah, he's on fire.
So the next item that we have here, this is a timeless pen, and it's made out of timeless bowling ball, but I don't know if you can see, it's actually got timepiece stuff in there.
Oh, that's cool. I can see it. Yeah.
And this is not like an actual pen. This is it's a pen shape, just kind of an ornamental thing, but this is one of the cooler things I've ever seen because it's got high road in there, but it's got all these it's got all these little actual watch pieces in the pen. So whoever wins this is going to be extra happy. It comes with
that's pretty cool. That's cool looking.
A nice little case here.
Did you get another bottle opener? You said.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, I still gotta dig.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. The bottle opener is definitely my favorite. I don't know what it is about the bottle opener, but I love it.
Yep, we got a Teal Rhino Pro bottle opener. There's a couple different bottle stoppers in here.
Teal Rhino Pro bottle opener, huh? That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, I've got to pull that out because it does look cool.
That is legit. I love that.
You can even see there's swirls and stuff in there.
That's so cool. Sweet.
Yeah, also same thing on here, so you can actually take the head off of the bottle opener to clean it. Oh, it's a real. How do you? I was trying to figure out how to make the pen actually open.
Is it a twist?
I thought it was a twist, but it looked like kind of a blunted end. So I'm not sure how to. I have to instruct me on how to operate the pen.
Got to be smarter than a pen.
it looks like there's a cap. It just looks like there's a cap on the end. It doesn't look like there's an actual pin in there. So if I start, okay, it's backwards.
You just said unscrew the cap, yeah.
Yeah, so you unscrew the cap, and there's the pin. It just I thought it was I thought it was you twist and the tip comes out, but yeah, so that's a different design too. So that's cool. Yeah, it's an actual little pin, and then there's the cap on it, and it screws right on. So yeah, that's a silky screw on too. So
Sweet.
yeah, that's extra sweet.
What else you got in there in the bag of goodies?
High Road Bowl, Night Road Bowl, the timeless pen and the case.
Okay.
Teal Rhino Pro bottle opener, Teal Rhino Pro pen, High Road pen, Night Road pen, Marvel Max SE bottle stopper, Tropical Surge bottle stopper, pizza cutter that we saw. So yeah, there's a lot of items in here for us to do for the giveaway.
Sweet. Good. Those are always a cool item to give away. I mean, especially with all the work that goes into them. It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah,
like that bottle opener right there is legit.
Yeah, we're gonna have the stuff like the like bowling balls and bowling bags and all that stuff. But this is kind of rare stuff. Like you can get bowling balls and bowling bags, and sure they're worth stuff, and everybody likes to win a bowling ball. But I think these have become kind of the prime high ticket items that everybody really is after because they're just special.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, I'm fixing my mic here. I knocked it sideways. I think we're good.
But yeah, so
okay.
James put in there in the chat. Appreciate the reply. I wouldn't mind a drive to KC or even Wichita if needed. Now there's coaching around, but as far as clinics go, clinics are a different story.
Yeah.
Clinics are kind of like things that people put on for larger groups. Like if you want some coaching, then yeah. You know, we've got plenty of coaches around here. Now, if I was doing it, I'd go to Lawrence. I wouldn't put anybody through that here. But closest ball to the promotion. I'm not entirely sure that there's anything out right now that's very promotion-y.
Wouldn't even say like not even like one of the forges.
No, because that's way too chuggy. The promotion's in a weird spot where it's. I mean, I'm smelling bowling balls now because all this stuff's sitting here. No, the forges are way too early and chuggy.
They are chuggy.
The promotion had this thing where it didn't really roll or rev super early, but it had plenty of traction. So it's weird. I don't think that there's anything really. Everything's either earlier or more dynamic. I would say that the Venom Shock is probably ultimately IQ Tour or something like that. It's not it, but it's about the closest thing you're going to get.
Really? You'd say a Venom Shock?
Yeah, it's got but it rolls too heavy, number one, and the shape is not quite right. The GB5 is too fast. I don't even know. There's just nothing else that's really like it. I would say that the Evoke is kind of close. It's asymmetric, so it's not quite there, but it does kind of remind me of it.
How many do you still have in stash? Still have a bunch?
6, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't drilled one in a while.
I know. It kind of shocks me.
Yeah.
It does. I
haven't really needed one.
I mean, I think it's the longest I've ever seen you go without throwing one.
Yeah. I just haven't. I actually like flippy stuff quite a bit better lately because I can just kind of get out of it soft, and I don't have the smoother stuff. I feel like I've got to kind of grab to get it to finish now. Yeah. So go check on Doggo Puppers real quick.
Oh, you're good. You're good. See if there's any other questions in here while he's leaving me. Oh, okay, there we go. Gromlovitz, 164.5. 2, Niffen, 160. Bauer, 152.5. Rosedolf, 139.5. Keeler, 123. Okay, so not too shabby. The fact that we're in 11th right now just blows my mind. Because I thought we were dead for rights. And it was ugly. But bouncing back in a big way helps. Let's see and make sure we didn't miss any questions here. Best tank for slightly rev dominant people. I'm assuming you're talking about like the Motive Tank series. It's a good question though. Oh, you're back. I was like, okay, this just changed. What would you say the best tank for a slightly rev dominant bowler would be?
I don't even know.
I mean, I was always a big fan of the Blitz, but obviously you can't get it anymore. The Carbide, was the Carbide the gray one? The gray one, whatever that one was pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow one, from what I understand, was just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, and it was super, super early too.
Yeah.
So whatever one that Alex George throws all the time was Tank Blitz. The
red one. Yes.
Yeah.
The one that I threw a lot before it cracked.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the better ones that they've had because Alex still throws his all the time.
Oh, that ball is so good, so good.
We can answer a string question.
Yeah, is this the one on the regional? Yeah. Okay.
I didn't really watch much of it. I heard everybody kind of saying it's like, yeah, people remain surprised by them, and sure, I have discussions with people all the time that have a thing like this. It's like, well, there's a certain hit where the pins slide into each other and the strings kind of hold them up. They do go down a little harder, and so they're not gonna act exactly like wood pins, but there's a lot of weird, crazy nonsense that wood pins do. That if we were going the opposite direction, and that's the thing is that people I think are being overcritical of strings, and it's like if they don't act exactly perfect 24/7, then people are like, okay, well this one thing happened like once every 50 shots or something like that. I'm kind of worried about it, but you see. Free fall pins do all kinds of weird stuff all over all the time. Now the free fall pins are uninfluenced, and so people I think accept that luck is going to be part of the thing because there's no outside influence whatsoever. And I can kind of sort of get that, but if we're talking about integrity and pins doing weird things, free fall pins do a whole lot weirder. There's a whole lot more luck injected with the free fall pins than there are versus the string pins. And people that bowl on them end up kind of conflicted because they're like, I don't want strings on pins, but I feel like I get truer kind of pin carry out of them rather than I can just throw it hard and rev it up and spray pins all over the place and get stuff to bounce all over the place. It's like, well, you have to be more accurate. You have to have a better ball roll into them to carry them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of making the boomers kind of torn a little bit because at first they were like, oh, strings, I hate strings, don't want strings, whatever else. And they kind of saw them and some people have bowled on them. It's like, well, I also hate two-handers. So, and strings, it's like rock, paper, scissors. It's like the strings, strings beat two-handers, but real pins beat strings, but two-handers beat real pins. So it's,
Yep.
Make your own rock paper, scissors game.
What's up, Jonathan?
Mm.
Jonathan Tiffany in the house.
Yeah. It's going to be in your bags for the next tournament. We talk about tournament arsenals for Tulsa.
I have one next weekend, actually.
Mm.
But it's just Pika City tournament.
No, yeah.
So I'm not too worried about it. It's just blowing a gauge. Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what you pack.
No. They've actually gone back to flooding it again. So it's people were complaining, and now it's just a straight flood. And there's talk about a massive cliff before you even start. It's a massive cliff. So, and some of the people that were complaining about it even were complaining again this week, and it's like, this is what you wanted. It's what you complained about.
Yeah.
This is what you get. So it's your bed. You made it. But, yeah, well, I mean, you go ahead and start. You better bring that ball to Tulsa for a broken arrow that you threw last year. I don't remember what that was, but.
Yeah, the Tour Dynamics.
Yes, that better go.
That's sitting in the box. As a matter of fact, I need to I think I need to. I've had some fit adjustments and changes since I threw that ball last, and so I need to. It needs a little bit of TLC, but it's going to get the TLC because it was magic, and I didn't even really throw it that great.
No, what's funny though is up until then you'd gone through the struggle bus at Tulsa. Well, since you made the switch to the left side, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, I mean, in team, I had to shoot 200. I think I went like 150, 150, and so I had to shoot 200 the last game to get 500. I ended up doing it. I completely lucked it out, but I ended up shooting 5-0 for like team, and then the next team set wasn't any better. It was like 550 or 560.
I'm pretty sure all I did all weekend was like 6-0, 16 myself to death. I'm pretty sure that's all I did. Both team events and then both singles and doubles. Are we bowling doubles together again this year, or do you know? I don't know.
I'm not sure what. I think so.
Pretty sure I thought he said we were, but I don't remember 100%.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've done before.
I don't even know if we're on the same team for the one team event we're doing. So.
Yeah, because I think that what he's going to have to do there is I think that the A team is going to bowl the second squad because they only have one team, the second squad, and so I think that him and Dylan and James and Zach Wilkins and Johnny probably, I would assume, would bowl the second team.
Yeah. Dylan, Trevor, James, Zach. Well, you can only have 4-man teams.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so that's probably what it is then.
Yeah.
It's probably just the shooters, the people that will actually make money.
What I would think. Well, we made money last year. Don't hang your head.
Well, yeah, we didn't make money in team.
No, we did. We did not make money in team. No.
Yeah, I wish you could see this better. It's a night road bowl, and so there's all kinds of it's like the dark code looking sparkle things.
That's really cool.
And this ball.
Okay, so outside of the tour dynamics, what are you taking? I mean, I haven't even thought that far ahead yet, but
well, I don't really think it matters too much what I take because the tour dynamic, it just whatever I go with is going to have to be just go right up the rail. And so there might be something that looks even better than the tour dynamics because it got a little iffy in the second set.
Yeah.
Well, it was a little fluttery to start off with until I got some friction built up, and then it was really good for 4 games. And then the last game, it started getting a little dodgy, getting it through the pins the right way. Because if I had to move in just a little bit to get it down the lane, but then that just kind of threw my angles off and completely ruined me there. So
that no doubt should make the bag.
I think it's going to be too strong. I think it's going to be way too strong and flippy. I need something that just does not hook. So it's probably going to be tour dynamics. I'm going to take my black hammer. That's my spare ball anyway, but I'm going to take a little bit of a look at it because it might actually work. The Ion Pro's going for sure. Outside of that, I don't know. I don't really care. I might look at drilling some other something. I've got a couple fluxes sitting here staring at me. I've got a Zen U that may not be a bad idea.
That's not a blank, is it?
Yeah, I've got 3 blanks actually.
It is a blank. Okay.
So yeah, I definitely need to drill it and get some games on it, or just straight up polish. I need to get some games on it really, because polishing is just going to make it a little crispy. It needs some games. It needs some time. Yeah. I don't really see anything else that I would want to drill. I think everything else is going to be a little too crispy. The hyped hybrid may not be a bad idea, but it's just basically what you need is smoother stuff that's a little bit dead because it's just going to be straight up 5-board. So it's Tour Dynamics, Ion Pro, and I don't really even know after that. I might just go Tour Dynamics into Ion Pro.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even thought it through yet. I'm going to take at least one NV Tour. I've got those 2 that I have, the one that's got really broken cover, and then the fresher one I've drilled. They're so much different than each other. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably end up taking the fresher one of the 2. I will take a Venom recoil. That bowl seems to look pretty good down there. Broken Arrow in Springfield or in Tulsa every year. Ion Pro is definitely going. I really, really like that bowl a lot. It has really, really grown on me. It's actually ended up being more of what I was hoping the Ruby would be for me, to be honest with you. It's giving more of the shape that I was hoping it would be towards that. But it is definitely a stronger IQ Tour. I really like it a lot. Outside of that, I haven't really thought about it. Maybe a Sensor Solid, but my Sensor Solid's it's got a lot of surface on it right now from Wichita. Theorem will probably make the bag. Definitely put the Theorem. I need a little cover maintenance on it. It's minus. I noticed the other day mine was sliming up on me.
Okay.
I threw it at. God, where did I throw it? Oh, it was a gauge. I threw it a gauge, and I come back, and the cover was all slimy. And I was like, okay, we've got to do something with this. Either we're gonna have to put it on the spinner and do something, or just resurface this thing altogether. So
yeah, I think if they sit a little bit too long, the surface gets like slightly calcified and it just doesn't act right. And so usually just the cover refresh takes care of it.
Okay, well that's fine because mine hasn't been all that great from the get go. It's been pretty. I don't know. It's definitely long, that's for sure. But I've had some good games with it. It's too up and down for me. I definitely need some cover maintenance on it. But like I said, outside of that I don't know what I'm going to take just yet. Spare ball will go, and then I'll figure it out. Still got a couple weeks to think about that, but good question.
Mm-hmm.
Any recommendations on cliff shots / rapid transition in a 5-man league? Boy, I hate 5-man leagues. I just don't like 5-man leagues just because of the pace.
Yeah,
4-man just goes so much better.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that now most of the time, most people didn't show up on our Friday night league. In Lawrence, it's 5 people, and now they went to kind of like a 4 or 5 hybrid. We have 5 people on our team, but most of the other teams had 3 or 4, and so that makes it feel like less than 5.
Yeah.
So, for cliff shots or rapid transition, generally speaking, part of the problem is people starting with stuff that's too aggressive. And I know that's kind of, if you're on a cliff shot, there's going to be people most of the time throwing stronger stuff with a little bit of surface to try to help blend it out. But it's really better if you use weaker stuff with a little bit of surface, like a Hustle X-Ray at 3000 grit would be like perfect. It's not going to hook a whole bunch. It's going to blend. You'll be able to play a little bit more of the friction, because the problem is playing through both the oil and the friction. Yeah. On something cliff, you really want to play one or the other. You don't want to be going in and out of both of them. So you either need to go surface and play in the soup, or you need to get something weaker and try to play the dry. Yeah, is the best way to tackle it, I think.
That's exactly what we deal with on Tuesday nights at Gage, since they added all that volume. And I know it feels very similar to when they first got that lane machine. They threw that out for like the Fiesta, where they were like super tight. Fiesta or something. They were like super, super tight and wet. And then we start league and we get a whole new different house shot. And then they made a change and we go back to what that was. And I'm like, okay, I'm not an idiot. I know this is what we were bowling on before. But that's what everybody does, is they all take super aggressive stuff with surface, and then they all just play it in the dry, and all it does is just takes the dry and just blows it up, but you still get a giant puddle in the middle. I mean, a giant puddle. Or if you miss it in, the ball just hydroplanes and goes 60 feet.
Yeah, that's what people used to do on the lane shield too, when it was, because it got really, really super high friction, and so Rex had to dump a crap load of oil on the lanes, and more oil means people would show up with, why can't you get the ball to hook? And so they'd show up with 500 grit stuff and burn it up really quick, and then they'd be screwed the last game.
Yep. I've been taking my NV Tour, the one with the beat up cover without any surface on it, and just laying it up the gutter. I mean, I'm just trying to fluff it up the dry, or else I'm going to have to get a bunch of surface and just jump in the soup. And my problem is I don't think I'm going to carry in there. So that's why I've kind of forced me out there. You know what I mean?
Looking for a new ball for league. The only ball I've been using is IQ Tour and Ruby. Depends on whether you want something stronger or weaker. Are they hooking enough for you? Or are they hooking too much? Not hooking enough? It kind of depends. That kind of depends. They're light to medium oil balls. They're not super strong, but they're not exactly weak either.
I've only been using the ruby, so then if you're using the ruby on fresh, then they must hook a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're predominantly using the Ruby and the IQ Tour, then you probably don't have a whole lot of oil to begin with. So if you do go something stronger, you probably don't want to go a whole lot stronger.
That's just us guessing, just off the ball choices.
Yeah.
I just happen to bowl better at Gage and Royal than First Westridge. I don't score well at Westridge either, but I don't really bowl there. So that's just because their racks are terrible.
Yeah, yeah. In an alternative universe where string pin setters were invented before freefall, people would hate on freefall just as much as they do string. Yeah, and that's really the thing. If we had strings and we were going to freefall, people would be losing their minds at how it's like, oh, these freefall pins, they just fly everywhere and do all kinds of weird things.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. People would be screaming bloody murder.
Man, I think it'd be the opposite. I think people would be like, wow, look at what these pins are doing compared to ones on these damn strings.
Well, but that'd be the thing is that the free fall pins fly around and, add a whole lot more luck into it. It's like, all you have to do is just hit the pin or just hit the head pin somewhere and they all fly all over the place. It's the same thing with twisters.
That's
like people,
true.
Yeah, because people, and those are still free fall, but they are definitely different than wood pins. And people can't even stand those. So if we were going from something, I think the pins or the strings depend or free fall is a whole lot bigger of a jump than wood to twisters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like twisters either, but some people with certain ball rolls can just really do it. Doesn't even have to be, you don't have to have a million rev or a million speed and rev rate. Some people just ball rolls just match up with those things.
Yep.
Amanda is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
She loves string pins, excuse me. She loves twister pins, but she doesn't score well on wood pins.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Me, I'm the opposite. I'd much rather have wood pins than I would string or damn, I can't talk.
String, free fall, twister, string, whatever. Yeah, same thing with me.
You got strings put in my head.
Yeah. Does order really matter when bowling league on a 4-person team? After the first couple weeks, my team wants me to bowl last. Why does that matter?
It does matter.
It does matter to a certain point because and it's just like if you think of it, everybody's bowling their own individual score, but if you think of it like bowling a Baker game, like every frame is part of a Baker game where you have your own frame. And if you look at it as a team game rather than individual games, things change a little bit. You want your leadoff bowler ideally to just keep you out of trouble. You want them to get the frame started off well, but you also want them to kind of put a strike on the board behind the anchor bowler.
Yeah.
So the anchor bowler strikes, and then you want that other strike when it flips back around. Now, of course, not being in an actual Baker game, there's no multiplier for doubling up, but you want to get off to a good start. And then your 2 and 3 bowlers or your kind of middle bowlers you want them to be solid, but that's also kind of where people hide weaker members of the team too, to be fair. But then you want your ideally you would have your leadoff bowler get you started off right, and then you would have your next couple bowlers, your 1 or 2, depending on 4 or 5 man. The next bowler or 2, you just want them to be solid. Hit the pocket, make up their, pick up their spares, whatever else, and then you want the setup bowler to be able to set up the leadoff bowler or set up the anchor bowler, and then the anchor bowler is the one that, when you're in a close game and there's a lot of pressure and whatever else, you want them to be able to get up in the 10th and punch out.
Yeah.
Is what you really want. And so the best, most consistent bowler most of the time goes, or the highest scoring bowler most of the time goes anchor, or the one that they feel the best about, striking out in the 10th in a close game.
Right. Yeah, your four hole is definitely going to be your most clutch player. This guy you can count on to make a shot when you need to make a shot. If that makes sense. So they're telling you probably that they think you should be the guy to get up there and make a shot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So kudos to you.
So happy that urethane is about to go extinct here. Where is here?
Yeah, where is here? Because going anywhere here?
I think he's overseas.
Oh, I
They
did
have
see something about that overseas. Is it? Yeah, go ahead.
the European tour.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
the
you.
European tour, but they gave tournaments over there the option to adopt PBA rules. They are not a naturally or they're not just straight up adopting PBA rules. They have given tournaments the option to where if they want to force people to use PBA rules when it comes to the urethane stuff, because they don't have house shots over there really at all. And so everywhere is just purple hammers. It's just racks and racks and racks of purple hammers. That's basically anything. That's basically all that people in Europe throw on tougher conditions. You just see racks and racks and racks of nothing but purple hammers.
That's boring.
And so if the tournaments adopt the PBA urethane rules, then you're still going to see a lot of blacks instead of purples. And the black is really close enough that if everybody's already using a purple to begin with, they're not going to say, oh, well, we can't use purple, so I guess I'll just throw reactive. They're just going to throw blacks, and they're going to make that work.
The black's a little more forward, isn't it?
No, the purple's the one that's a little bit sharper. The black's pretty rolly. It's just not quite as aggressive. It's not as aggressive. It's definitely smooth.
You can definitely see it's slower down the lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When it makes the corner, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And James kind of answered this. Thoughts on Power Edge versus Reactogloss? Well, since they fixed Reactogloss, it doesn't seem, theoretically on paper, what James said is accurate, but it really didn't seem to make a whole heck of a lot of difference. Because Tobias threw his, now it looked good on his phase AI, looks really good on the house shot, but it just went 80 feet. Even Zach had trouble getting his to do much of anything. It just completely, you would think they're the phase AI is just allergic to oil. The Ion Pro is allergic. I think it's more, we'll have to see Power Edge on more stuff because I think it's a cover problem, not necessarily a finish problem. So
what was that? Was that like one of those?
Something my.
Oh, I was like, what in the world was that? I didn't know if that was in my house or not. I've got these monitors in my ear, and everything magnifies. It sounds like I'm literally sitting in the room next to you. So.
Yeah. Check on doggos.
Just wait till they start making all the string pins twisters. You don't wish that. I tell you what, I think you're just looking for for people to get mad. I think he said he's checking on the doggos real quick. I won't jump the gun on questions that he hasn't got to yet, so he can share them on the screen. I just happen to bowl better at Western Engage. Power Edge doesn't. Okay, sorry. Don't mind me. Just scrolling through here. Yep. Come on. Reading through my computer over here. The only thing I don't like about this platform that we use is I can't manage the chat on the side. So I've got to do it on a separate computer here.
Uh-huh.
So that's why if I want to interact in the chat and actually chat, I have to do it through a separate computer off to the side here. So
during league and practice, usually see oil rings small in early first game, comes back, no oil rings anymore. Zone left, still no oil rings. That's a sign the lane's breaking down, becoming drier. Yes, but also you're wiping the ball off, but you're probably not getting like all the oil off the ball. So if you wipe the ball off before you throw the ball, so you're wiping the ball off and then you're throwing it 15 seconds later, maybe, you probably still got a little bit of oil kind of sitting on the cover of the ball. And so it's not going to pick it up as noticeably later. So yeah, part of it's the lanes drying up. And part of it, I think, is just the ball not fully absorbing absolutely every bit of oil off the cover between you wiping it off and you throwing it. So I think it does pick up a little bit more oil in practice because the cover is just dead fresh and tacky. So
cool. Oh, I won't get into that right now.
He's got some great press conferences, though.
Yes, he does. Things are improving. I think after a little shouting match that they had on the sideline the other day between the two, It was all over a play calling thing. Peyton wanted to run. He went pass, and on the pass, he actually made the right call. It was a wide open receiver that didn't catch the football. It made me mad, but no, things really started to click. I do see flashes. I think it's promising. I think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be Patrick Mahomes. No. But I think he's gonna be a starter in this league for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty confident kid too. He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't get rattled.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just gonna say. It's like he just doesn't seem like anything rattles him.
Did you see the video clip of Max? You know who Max Crosby is? That plays for the Raiders, their best defensive player. There's a time when Bo's lined up at the line to snap, going through his cadence to snap football. Maybe he's going through an audible or whatever. Max Crosby stands up at the line. He says, "They don't know, Bo. They don't know. They don't bleeping know." And that's funny is matter of minutes in the game. All of a sudden that script flips, and Max Crosby's eating his words. So we've won 3 in a row, so I can't knock too much. Obviously the Broncos are part of the Robert Saleh firing from the New York Jets because they lost in a 9-10 football game. But I like him. No, he's not putting up Jaden Daniels numbers, but I think he's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Most competitions here use 78U now. In my national league, talk about you used to it. That will 99% of competition urethane free. The Black Hammer is not even close. Widespread over here. Huh. Okay.
Huh. Interesting.
So
Clint Harris, go Tigers and Lions. Good times around here. Yeah, congrats. Saw the Tigers won again tonight. Sorry. The MLB postseason has been absolutely filthy. If you're not a fan of baseball, it's just been redonkulous. The Padres and Dodgers want to punch each other in the throat. And Tigers are they're the hottest team in baseball. And when you catch a heater going into the postseason, it is what it is. Royals are playing right now against the Yankees. So
yeah, I'm gonna turn that on after we get out of here. They I wouldn't exactly say that they got screwed the first game of that series because you can't walk 8 Yankees and expect to win. But when you have some of the whoever's calling the guy that was behind the plate game 2, and it was both sides. I'm not screaming about it like it was just one way or the other, but it's like, man, this guy could not call the balls and strikes. And it's like when the catcher's lunging and the ball is like 8 inches out of the zone, it's like, oh, sometimes you're going to give pitchers the Greg Maddux calls where they hit the glove. The glove doesn't even move. Sure, they're outside of the zone, but they execute the pitch. I can see giving them a little bit of leeway on that when they're working the batter and they're making good pitches. But when the catcher's set up here and he's got to lunge out of the zone that's a strike. It's like, okay. When literally, when even the other team, when the pitcher thinks it's a ball and calls it a strike, that's a little outer limits. Because pitchers and catchers are always gonna beg for everything they can beg for. But if they think it's a ball, then come on.
That's right. Pod Squad, let's go. I tell you what, the Padres are my World Series pick. I've been saying that. I like them a lot. The team's very, very athletic. Losing Musgrove hurt a little bit, but yeah. And Scooball is nasty. Yeah, he's freaking filthy. I'm a big baseball guy. You guys know that I like to comment on football a lot, but baseball's my jam. So.
Yep, and it's nice to see the Royals kind of getting back into things and having a decent team again.
Yeah, the Red Sox have just been trash. So, I guess we got spoiled there from 2004 to 2018 where we won all those championships. So
yeah,
it was a nice run. Still 4 championships in baseball in that span is impressive. It's not like football. To me, football, it easy. It seems like back-to-back happens more frequently these days than it did back then, but it's still going back-to-back in football is still ridiculous. I'll mark my words. I still don't think the Chiefs are three-peating.
It's hard to tell because we didn't think that they were going to win after the first 6 weeks last year because they were equally dog shit.
Yeah.
Last year for the first 6 weeks. Now they weren't 5-0, but record doesn't matter when you get in the playoffs. It just doesn't. If they're playing like this when it comes to playoff time, they're just not going anywhere.
No.
Unless, man, they just really pay those. They up the salaries for those refs a lot.
They do. Tell you what, don't get me started on that. No,
there were the first 3 games. There were plenty of calls that even if people, they called more penalties on the Chiefs. It's but the penalties that mattered, came at pretty good times.
Yeah,
and penalties are still penalties, but you could literally call holding on every single play. So it's kind of a bullshit call to begin with. And I just don't know how these guys work around the rules because the rules, you got these big 300-pound guys on the line that are just pushing and brawling with each other the entire time. And if somebody starts getting past you, you're just going to grab. It's just instinct. You're just going to grab them.
It's out of protecting the quarterback too. So
how do you tell the difference between holding and kind of not holding? It's kind of a funny line there. I mean, sometimes some things are very, very obvious.
The other big one is pass interference. Calling pass interference in football is just such a huge judgment call, though, that it's they need to find a fine line and say this is where we're calling pass interference, and then stay consistent with it because the one that's happened, the Chiefs back to back were beneficiaries of pass interference calls. The one that was called, one that shouldn't have been called, the one that wasn't called should have been called 100%. I mean, he was not even looking for the football. But the one that wasn't called, I mean, that's a no call in a lot of games where they just beats the ball there. It's not a huge contact, but it's enough that it's you get what I'm saying. So I'm not going to be one to say, the refs, they do it for them. That's a good football team. And that's a good football team.
I watched because I was sick of people bitching about it. So I watched their week 4, the entire game. And that was one of the best officiated games of anything I'd ever seen. And this is one where the Patrick got picked off and then they had a fumble and whatever else. And they were just getting the cream cheese knocked out of them for the first half. And then they kind of slowly came back and won it. And it's everything that got called should have been called. And there was a lot of good plays that got called back. And it's that's a penalty. So just because penalties happen on big plays, it's you have to look at whether or not it was actually a penalty. Yeah. And so it's okay, well, sure, penalties are going to happen on big plays too. It's not it's awful convenient to call it on that play. It's well, was it not a penalty? I mean, just because it happened on a big play doesn't mean that there's some kind of conspiracy or scam there. And I think that they'd want to, you would think that if they would not pick a small market team like the Chiefs, you would think that they would help the Cowboys out a little bit with all the money that Jerry Jones spends on his own players.
He shows up to practice on his damn helicopter. Did you see that video? Showed up to practice on his helicopter, landing in the middle of the practice field. On the Pat McAfee program last week, they just hammered that all week. Yeah. What are you doing here, bro?
The way that guy throws around, you would think that he would have some extra change falling out of his pockets for the refs to kind of grease the wheels there.
You would think so. Can somebody in the chat, I know we'll get back into bowling here in just minutes. Apologize, but will somebody in the chat please give me the update to the Phillies and Mets score? I was watching that before we went live on the tubes here. Also, the one thing I will say though, off the pass interference thing that I wish would happen, which they did at one time, they did it for one season, and then just never called it, reversed it, I should say. You used to be able to review pass interference, and there was pass interference calls that weren't reversed, and I want to say it's the same year that happened to the Saints, where the dude was clobbered. I mean, clobbered. Getting tackled before the ball gets to him. They don't call pass interference. They throw the flag to challenge it to see that's pass interference. They don't overturn it. So I think that's one, but they won't do it because I think it's a judgment call that they don't want to. I mean, it makes you look bad. I mean, it is what it is. Thank you guys. 4-1 Mets. Man, Mets are on a heater too.
Yeah.
congrats to those Mets fans out there that are enjoying this run so far. Hopefully they hold on and keep going. Thank you guys. But there was a question here, real quick, unless you had a response to
Go for it.
what I had to say about that. There was a question here. It's a long one. Probably have to pop it up. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. I have an OG reality. Summit, Infinite Physics, Zen, Venom Shock, Absolute, Arctic Vibe, Purple Hammer, Spare Ball, 300 Rev, 15 on monitor, 57-year-old who dabbles in regionals, any gaps or overlap. All right, so let me look through this again. I'll let Luke look through this real quick too as we're doing it. I have an OG reality, okay. Summit, Infinite Physics, Zen, Venom Shock, Absolute, Arctic Vibe, Purple Hammer, Spare Ball, 15 on the monitor, 57-year-old who dabbles in regional. Okay. I'm gonna let Luke get back and touch on this. See what he has to say on this. I don't know. James, you're in here. What do you think? What do you think on this one? I know you're a big bowling ball guy. I don't pay attention to numbers and stuff as much as I should, so it's hard for me. I don't want to tell you something wrong. There you go. Gonna do different urethane for regionals. That's for yes. Yeah, thank you. Besides that, yes. Luke, what do you think on this? I'm just not a big bowling ball guy when it comes to numbers. I see shapes. I know what I like to see, and that's what I go with. So.
Yeah, it seems fairly balanced. I'd probably have another
urethane option, like James said, especially if you're bowling regionals.
Yeah, different urethane option, but I see a lot of. You've got the reality at the top, and then you've got the Venom Shock in there too. I don't know. The Summit's in there, but it's big. Like I think that, but I don't know. That seems kind of okay.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the list, I thought it was okay. Just
got
some good balls though. Zen was how old is your Zen? Just curious. I missed mine. I still have it. I wish it pretty much the cover's dead now, but I wish I could throw it still. I really like that thing. Venom Shock, Absolute. Didn't you like the Absolute? Wasn't that one you liked? I thought so.
Angel threw.
I knew you liked the Summit. You still surprised you don't throw that anymore.
It goes to league.
Okay.
And I probably should be throwing it, but it just the Ion Pro fits right now.
Dude, that Ion Pro is legit. Like it's so good. I want to order a couple more and just have them in stash.
Yeah, I was close to having a big set with it the other day, but I lost the left lane and it kind of screwed me.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I was doing the dishes. Yay, Mets. Priorities. You should not be doing the dishes. We are currently live. You should be watching the breakdown pair. Oh goodness. I mean, even if we talk a little longer, if we got nothing else and not a lot of interaction, we can sign off here so you can watch the Royals too. So
yeah, into the fourth, Yankees 1, Royals nothing. So we're still in that game. Tigers beat the Guardians.
I am not a Royals fan, even though I'm from this area. I'm originally from Kansas City, as you most know. But I would like to see the Royals knock off the Yankees just because
Oh, yeah. You're a Red Sox fan, so.
Yeah. Top of the ninth. Diaz coming in to close. Good. Finish that off. Love my Ion Pro. Yeah. Ball's really good. I told you, it's not what I expect. I mean, once again, I see shapes, and I see shapes that I'd like to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little iffy on some of the things I saw with it, but man, it fits me so well. Not sure on relevance, but is there anything for the burn if that happens at regionals? Still okay. I see what he's talking about.
Yeah, because the Absolute's still kind of strong, and the Absolute is pretty chuggy. But yes, like James said, for somebody with a 300 rev rate in regionals, yeah. He's probably not gonna. They're not gonna get dry enough often enough for him to even get into the Absolute very often. So,
absolutely. thoughts on a possibility of a Subway series in New York City? That sounds absolutely disgusting, and I mean that in a bad way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see the I just don't see the Yankees making it. And of course, I'm going to be a little bit of a homer and say that I think the Royals can beat them because they, despite a bad call and walking 8 of them, they only lost by 1 run in the first game, and they won the second game. Granted, they had 1 big inning and kind of held on, but the Yankees had 0 big innings, and it's 1-0 right now. I think the Royals just need to get the bats going. I think that's the problem right now. Is the pitching has been really good, but the big bats have been a little quiet so far.
I do not despise anybody in baseball more than I do Aaron Boone.
Yeah.
True story. I mean, it goes back to his playing days too, but as a manager, I think he's an absolute tool. So when he went out to rip the umpires for calling balls and strikes, and he says, "You're killing us. My guys are savages in the box." It's like, you're an idiot, bro. Just stop.
Yeah, and I am an Aaron Judge fan. I like Judge. And again,
he grew up a Red Sox fan, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
There's pictures of him wearing Red Sox outfits.
That's great.
Yep.
But yeah, never been a Yankees fan, not a Yankees fan, but I always had respect for some of the guys, the David Cohns and of course Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter and
gross.
Yeah.
Here's actually a really good question, Lou. This is actually a really good question. If you had 90 guaranteed entries for your dream tournament, any tournament format you want to run, what format would you do? I actually like Baker. I like Baker tournaments. I think Baker doubles is one of the most fun formats in bowling. Scotch doubles is one we don't see as much anymore either. Takes a little more skill in shot making because your spares are your opponent, your partner shoots your spares, vice versa. It's kind of like playing what is it in golf? Is it 4 balls or your doubles and you have to hit your partner's shots, or so you tee off and he hits your second shot. I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah, Scotch is the one where it's every other shot.
Yeah, see, that would be fun, but in my opinion, nothing more fun. Like back to you, for example, when you used to run the Friday night shootouts. Look what always gets the turnouts. It's the Baker doubles.
Yeah, the Baker, because it was just so much fun.
It's a blast. You give me 90 entries in a Baker doubles tournament, make it a longer format, more games for qualifying. I don't care what pattern we bowl on. I think that'd be a lot of fun. What are your thoughts?
One of my favorites is the eliminator type of tournaments where you bowl like 4 games for qualifying or something like that, 3-4 games. And then you take like the top half and then you just start cutting. You take the top half of the field and then you cut half of that, and then you cut half of that, and then you cut half of that, and it eventually becomes kind of like a stepladder type of deal.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where all you have to do is keep above the line. So if you have just like one random I hate stepladders or like brackets because you could have the second highest game in the bracket, but if you happen to be bowling the person that shoots the highest game, then you lose and you get screwed. And so if you shoot a big game in an eliminator format, you don't get screwed. And you can also kind of absorb a kind of a down game. If you get on a bad pair or something, it's not so, it gives you a little bit of leeway to help. If you're having a good tournament, you don't get screwed by one bad game or a couple bad frames or something like that. And it does eventually go down to, okay, you have 8 bowlers left, and you have 4 bowlers left, and you have 2 bowlers left, and they bowl for then it's the 1 game match or whatever. It's your high game wins, and that's just,
Yeah, I agree with that. I like eliminator styles. You could even bring that in with Baker too. So like you could,
you could have Baker team. You could, whatever, Baker single, trios, whatever else.
I just, there's something about Baker. It's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed it. And I like it when that's why Jeremy Hirschman's tournament's so much fun. It's a 5-man Baker tournament, but it's still, it's a lot of fun. I wish we would do more of those things, like Dave and Mike run a Baker doubles tournament or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Get creative a little bit. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing is that people, as much as they want to go to tournaments and make money, they want to have fun at the tournaments. They don't want to just go, okay, well, it's singles and we're doing this same old format again and whatever else. They want to go bowl something. Sure, they'd like to make some money, but if people were just solely thinking about making money, not near as many people would bowl tournaments. They want to get out there and want to bowl something. And the more fun the format is, the more people you're going to get to turn out. I mean, it's something like Swiss Trios.
Yep.
It's like there's a ton of people that show up that pack that place every single year knowing that they have not a chance to win a single cent. And they still show up anyway. And they still suck anyway, but they still have tons of fun and they sign up next year.
It's all that matters. So, sometimes bowling great and making money, it's great. But sometimes life's too short. And having fun sometimes, flat out having fun goes a long way. And I'm one that probably that gets frustrated and tries to take it too seriously sometimes. I know you probably do too. Instead of going in and say, you know what, screw it, let's just have fun, and you never know what happens. So
yeah, and that's one of those things that I thought pretty seriously over the last couple of years of just quitting bowling, period, because I was in kind of a rut for a couple of years and it just was not fun and spending all my time making bowling videos and crap. And I just absolutely hated it. But I started thinking about it's like, well, I still want to go to Southwest. I still want to go to Tulsa. I still want to go to Springfield. I still want to all these places where it's like, okay, might make some money in Springfield, but not gonna Springfield has gotten to the point where it's like you're just going, that's almost like nationals. It's like it's even worse than nationals because somehow it just that is the tournament that I feel like I have zero chance of making money at doing anything down there. Tulsa's a little bit of a chance. Southwest is a little bit of a chance. But it's just I kind of want the outings because there's, even though Tulsa has just been kind of strictly bowling. I mean, the Mexican restaurants down there is great. We hit that a couple times, and then hanging out with the guys bowling the sweepers.
Yeah.
Just having some beers with Zach Wilkins and chatting him up a little bit.
I drank with him too much. Way too much. You're exactly right. And I've honestly have contemplated. I've talked to Amanda. I've talked to my parents. I've contemplated walking away many, many, many times. And it's times you think about, like you just said, like we got Tulsa in 2 weeks. If I'm not bowling, I don't get to go do those things. I mean, I could still go and watch, but as soon as I do that, I'm going to get the itch again. I want to bowl.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go do this stuff. I want to bowl. You know how many things in life from bowling has come my way? I mean, I've made so many great friends. I've met my wife. My kid, I wouldn't have my kid if it wasn't for bowling. I mean, I met you. We do this show. All the things we've done through bowling, it's just amazing. And the more I think about it and say, well, do you really want to walk away from this?
Yeah.
Knowing that it's brought so many opportunities in your life that it's impossible. I couldn't do it. It may make me want to punch myself in the face. But sweet, Mets win. Good.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like it's expensive and it's time consuming and it's whatever else. And again, I've gotten a little too heated doing stuff before, and especially bowling lefty is just really frustrating because it's not my dominant hand.
Yeah, I know.
Number one. And so it's like, okay, well, I've got to try to just not get mad because otherwise I would just fry all the time. But if I'm not getting mad, then I'm not really caring or being too invested in it. And so that's what really gets me is it's like, okay, I've got to find that happy little medium where I've still got to try and care and have fun doing it, but just let it go when it doesn't go well.
No, I completely understand that. Yeah.
I saw a reel or something of Kobe Bryant the other day, and they were talking about feeling pressure or getting nervous, and he's like, they just never made sense to me because it's like you go out, you give it your best effort. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But it's like, if you never put yourself in a position to do great things or whatever, I can't remember what the exact what he was talking about is like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me to get nervous because you go out there and it either goes well or it goes bad. And if you never put yourself in a position to fail, you can never win. So
that is actually a fantastic quote, by the way.
yeah.
I mean, things do happen though. Like I went to Tulsa. It's been a few years now. I think it was before James was even going with us, and I actually made quite a bit of money. I had that giant set in singles.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I finished in the top 10 or something like that in singles.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up catching a big check, and it paid for my whole weekend. So
yeah,
it was enough to pay for the whole weekend and make a little money. But stuff like that, it's kind of like golf in a lot of ways. You can be super pissed off at golf and play like crap the whole time you're playing. Then you hit that one good shot around, and you're just like, okay, I can do this again. I can do this again. My stepdad has taught me that a lot. It's just that one shot sucks you in every time. So I need to get back out and play with him, with Woody. We need to play again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super busy. But it's something you can't quit. And like even John and Tiffany in here just said, our community is strong. I wouldn't know the people I know or have learned as much as I have these past few years if it wasn't for everyone here. Yeah, there's some toxic people in this community, though. I want you to know that. Not everybody in this community are great people. But I'm not talking about in here. I'm just talking about in the bowling world in general. So just keep that in mind. But there's a lot of really good people out there. So, yeah. Might be my favorite. If I never started bowling, never joined Luke's community, I would have missed out on some of my favorite people in my life. Yeah, exactly, Max. See, it's so true. I mean, look at bowling. Let's take Luke, for example. Without bowling, Luke would have never started this community and this channel and everything else. The dog fundraiser. I mean, look at the stuff that bowling does to raise money for the pups. I mean, I could throw a lot of things out there. It's super frustrating game. Just don't quit it because you'll miss it.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that it kind of messes with you and it beats you down a little bit. But
oh yeah,
you just got to frame it right. You got to put it in the right perspective. It's just like anything else. There's too many people that put themselves in positions for things to go wrong, and then they cry when life goes bad. It's the same people that you see on Facebook all the time crying about things going bad. It's like, well, yeah, I'm kind of shocked it hasn't gone worse than it has because you make terrible choices.
Yeah,
so,
that's just in life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so true though. Like, we can beat this. I mean, we could talk about this for days.
Yeah,
it's so true though. I do think that you and Angel, I know you talked about it at one point in time, wanting to possibly run some tournaments and stuff again. You know my favorite format. I think you guys should do like a Baker doubles, make it like a monthly or every other month or like something. Just run a Baker doubles tournament on Chromium and just run on something like Chromium.
Yeah,
we were. I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing that. It's just we don't have the time at the moment.
No, I know.
And so if we ever did find the time, and actually Angel said it's like, well, you don't even have to go. It would be something that she could do with Tobias or
I can even help her.
Or Jesse, Ryan Miller, whatever else.
I can help her. I don't care. I think if you did like a Baker format, you would everybody would show up every week. It would always happen. Just because it's just such a fun format.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just different, or you can switch it up. 1 month's Baker, 1 month Scotch, 1 month's Baker.
Yeah,
just throwing ideas out there.
Another thing too that I lost my train of thought that I wanted to still put in there, but
my bad.
No, I just completely went out of my head and I was trying to remember it. But you think about not wanting to go out and have bad outings or embarrass yourself or whatever else, but the funny thing is that when we go out and we bowl like shit, we just feel bad and beat ourselves up about it, but nobody else really cares. It's like everybody's going to have bad sets when you go to tournaments, and it's like when it happens to somebody else, you don't really care. When it happens to you, you feel a whole lot worse about it than you do when it happens to somebody else. Like Keeler got the yips in Tulsa several years ago, like 2018, 2019. I think it was right before COVID.
I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
Angel had to bowl singles and doubles. He got the yips in the middle of it was the Shannon O'Keefe, Diana Zavjalova thing where his head wasn't processing his steps right, and he'd just do the little shuffle step thing and kind of go up there, and he kept throwing it in the ditch. And it happened to him halfway through the first team, and he's like, okay, well, we got some time off. I'll shake this, and we'll bowl the second. And he shot like 450 in the second team, and then Angel bowled for him on Sunday, and I'm sure that he felt like dog shit and super embarrassed and whatever else, but I literally didn't think any less of him whatsoever. For him, if that happened to me and I'm just throwing it in the ditch and you're bowling on a team and you shoot 450 because you can't keep the ball on the lane on a house shot, granted it was Andy B's, but historically he'd bowled pretty well there, and I just did not think less of him whatsoever. It's like, gosh, you feel bad for him and whatever else, but you'll bounce back and do it better next year. And it's like, if that happened to me, I would just want to go hide somewhere. But I didn't think any less of him, for it at all. And so you gotta give yourself the grace that other people are giving you sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right. And there's when guys are going through stuff like that, like you said with Keeler, there's not a whole lot you can really say to him either. It's just your brain is physically not comprehending what your legs are trying to do, or legs or your brain, vice versa. Sorry, the other way around. It's weird. I've kind of gone through something similar where I've kind of gone up. It's never been like that. Where usually after about a few shots, I finally wake up and realize what's going on. But where you kind of get like stiff legged at the line or going up there, and you're like, okay, where do I slide when I put my push off and stuff? It happens. It really does. And I'm surprised it's not talked about more, because I'm sure it happens to other people. Have you gone through it?
I had it happen in practice once, where I just, for whatever reason, I'd go to start and it just doesn't feel right. It feels like you're doing it backwards or something like that. It's like fixing your timing. It's like trying to push the ball away on your third step instead of your second step. Yep. It feels just like completely foreign and forced, and you got to think about it, and it's not right, and you're just like tripping over yourself. And it only lasted for a few shots. I just kind of stepped back and reset and went after it really slowly. But Shannon O'Keefe is still fighting with it, and she's finally, I think, getting back to the point where she's ready to give it a go again. Diana Zavjalova had it happen in the middle of the Players' Championship or something like that.
Yeah.
And so for super high-profile people, for that to happen to them, and they've got a bunch of people watching them, that's even so much worse.
Oh, yeah, for sure. When it's happened to me, though, it always feels like my legs are stiff. Like I'm afraid to bend my knees or something. Like they're just stiff. And then everything gets timing's off wise, and you go up there and just you have no idea where it's going. It's never been anything like that. It's always like you said, it's been a few shots here and there, but never anything super like it's going to affect me for the next block. Does that make sense?
Yep. Another teal rhino pin.
Orioles down 2-0 now, by the way.
That's okay. That's only a couple runs. Now they've got to be able to actually score some runs here too. That'd help. If 2-0 doesn't sound like a big score, but with them not really scoring many runs lately, that is kind of a little bit of a big deal. So,
yeah.
But we'll see. Okay, I'm not going to get that back in there.
I thought there was another decent question here. So, yeah, Jonathan, you probably have seen Riley before. He's also in Discord. I know you're in Discord, so.
Yeah, well, he used to be on I've got the Sub-Zero video written, and I put in there that if you watch the Bowling Fix before, you'll remember Riley.
Yep, the Bowling Fix. I didn't think okay. Yeah, James, I would live in Kansas if it wasn't for bowling. That's true. Good point. Well, technically, you could say you never lived in Kansas and live in Missouri, and then just say you would never live in Kansas if it wasn't for bowling. Yeah, vice versa. You get where I'm going with that. Marshall, I don't think we've missed +1 for more Baker tournaments. My man. Vaporize versus Attention Star Core. Numbers are similar. How do you feel they stack up versus each other?
They're not. The Vaporize cover is quite a bit stronger So it's just the Vaporize is actually cleaner, I think, than the Attention Star, and it's faster down lane, but it's also a fair amount stronger. The Attention Star just has a medium strength cover, and the Vaporize cover is quite a bit stronger. So it's actually the stronger and more dynamic ball, though it doesn't start up quite as early as the Star does. So.
Let me take some allergy medicine. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you're right-handed, but bull lefty. Yeah, it's just I hurt my shoulder probably 15 years ago now, and I tried to make it work, and it didn't quite work, and I went back and forth. I bowl a couple years lefty, a couple years righty, and I'd always try to go back to righty, but it's just not working out, and just the flipping back and forth is just kind of dumb. So I figured I'm just better off as a lefty because I bowl mostly house shots on stuff anyway, and I don't have to fight. I fight coordination sometimes, but I don't really have to fight like basic mechanics. So
Luke tried to hoop too much, and when he was hooping, he hurt his shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm white, and I got inside that big arc thing kind of on the outside, and that was not a good decision.
As Pat McAfee would say, Luke messed around and found out he's a white.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
By the way, not to bring back Tulsa back up, are we still on the same normal Greater Tulsa Open pattern, or did they announce a pattern or anything?
James said that somebody sent him something and said that there's more volume than normal. And so they said that somebody said there's more volume than normal, and so the straighter players are doing better than the players that hook it. But
I mean, I really hate to hear that.
How is that different from normal, though? Because normally, like the lefty dumpers right up 5, that's what scores. So that's the other wrinkle that goes in there too. Is I'm going to take some different stuff just in case there is more volume. But it's still going to. I mean, they said, well, okay, so the straighter players are doing better, but that's not really different from like the players that hook it have like a game and a half, and then everything just goes to hell. And so again, you shot that big set in singles, just putting it right up 7 or 8. And so
I didn't miss either. I mean, I was hitting that for.
Yeah. I feel like Broken Arrow has always kind of favored straighter players.
Oh yeah,
to play kind of outside 10 generally. So they don't post the GTO pattern on the website. So yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. When you just told me though that my thoughts in my head were darn. The guys that play them straight are having more success. It really didn't hurt my feelings at all.
Yeah, but I mean, James didn't have fun last year. It Broken Arrow. James didn't have fun. Zach didn't have fun. Trevor didn't have fun. Dylan didn't have fun. It just was. Well, I think Dylan actually did okay in doubles and singles, but nobody else.
I didn't score all that great. Like I said last year, it was a lot of 6-0, 16, 620. It was low 6. Even when we got going, I thought I had pretty good ball shape, and then I started 10 pin. I'm like, where to go from here? And then my Tulsa balls, it finally cracked to the finger, so it's done. My pin down ghost. I might actually bring my pin up ghost. Do you think I might look okay?
Yeah, especially if there's more volume and playing straighter is the deal. There's a few things I had forgotten that point when we were talking about it earlier. So there might be a few things I might consider. I might go on ahead and put holes in that hype hybrid that I'm staring at.
There you go. I think that ball's going to make the bag then. If there's a little more volume, then I'm for sure going to go ahead and bring the probably the fresh covered NV Tour and not have to worry about bringing 2 NV Tours. And just
I might end up bringing that, no doubt then, but.
We are doing a B&B, by the way. Johnny, myself, and Amanda and Ray are doing a B&B.
Cool.
So instead of getting a hotel room, we saved a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I think that's that's becoming kind of the way to go. Because if you find a house or something, you can get several people in there comfortably and end up spending a whole lot less than for a hotel room.
I think we're splitting around $240 a piece. Between Johnny and myself, and we're just cutting it in half. Johnny said we'll just cut it in half.
Yeah, so that
and Man and I count as one, and then I think it's like 200. No.
Most hotel rooms are going to be 150-ish, 130, 150.
if you're in a nicer room or a nicer hotel on an expensive night, it's $220.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it works. I think it's perfect.
Puggles. Buck, what are you doing? You want to show everybody your scarf?
Do reactive balls curve naturally without you putting much spin on the ball? Not necessarily, but yes, they will flip.
Yeah, you've got to get them going the right direction, though. You can't just kind of put them down a dyno ramp and have them actually. You have to, even if you suitcase it, if you get around the side of them, you have to do something to them. They don't automatically, you can't just throw the ball straight.
No, you've got to have the ball rotating a little bit.
Yeah, you've got to have it aimed and rotating in the correct direction. Then it just goes in whatever direction. Come here, Buck.
Yeah.
Come here. You want to show everybody your scarf?
Oh yeah, we've been doing We've been doing B&Bs for a while. They're just so much cheaper. Like Springfield last year did B&B. Dylan, myself, Brent Coleman, and Johnny did for the Springfield doubles, the 10K doubles. We did a B&B in Springfield. Holy crap, we saved so much money, especially the more you get and you can fit everybody in. It's just so much cheaper. So much cheaper. The only headache is when you're done, you got to make sure all the dishes washed, trash taken out, do all that. But
yeah.
Next thing you know, you're going to stay in a B&B. They want you to mow the grass.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm kidding. But no, they're so much better because you get your own private space. It is nice.
Yeah, you don't have. If there are kids screaming and jumping around, it's your own.
Yeah, Raylan will be there, but you know who she is. She's not going to jump around and scream. She's going to bother me. And no, I'm just kidding. You need to do more of those when we go on these trips. Do some B&Bs.
Yeah, we just normally. We don't even think about it. Most of the time, we just end up defaulting to hotel rooms because that's just kind of what we're used to. Yeah, I'm not sure how Angel feels about trying to do some of those, but
some people aren't comfortable with it. I completely understand.
Yeah, and I think most of the time it's just for the one of us or the two of us, and so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us if we're not staying with like a bigger group of people. And plus, we're kind of the old crotchety that want our own space. And
I get it. I completely get it. I actually like the B&Bs where we're actually with people.
But
to me, like especially when we're out of town, it feels like we're all hanging out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just an extended hangout. So
instead of you get done bowling and you just kind of go back to your hotel room, and that's
see you tomorrow.
So yeah.
All right, go ahead. Answer your question there.
Would you say the Vaporize is closer to the Eternity than the Attention Star then? No. Because the Storm just right now does not have much of anything that competes with, and it's not that they don't compete with Brunswick, it's just they're not similar. There's just not a whole lot that translates. You can get something. The Brunswick stuff is just so much faster. Like Storm doesn't have any like the virtual energy blackout is the closest thing to the Vaporize, but the blackout is still like 5 feet longer and an arrow weaker. So just imagine a virtual energy blackout on like Mark McGuire steroids, and you have the Vaporize.
I'm sorry, I was not ready for that. Yeah, James, I'm the same way too. Yeah, I still want to have my own space on those.
Mm-hmm.
We like the B&B we're at this weekend. We all have our own room, even Raylan. So everybody's got their own space. It's nice.
Not doing play-by-play. I swear to God, I'm showing up on time for my birthday shot tomorrow, though. It's gonna happen, damn it! Because Paul offered me a birthday shot from like 2 months ago, and I just have not managed to get there. I always like last week I was going to be there. I had some stuff to bring some people, so I'm like I'm going to be there at like 6 or 6:15, and ended up Angel got home right as I was about to leave, and then dog shuffling stuff and whatever else. And I talked to her a little bit, and then I'm late.
Tomorrow is your birthday, isn't it?
No, it was a couple months ago.
But that's what I thought. It's like you just messed me up. I was like, wait a minute. I thought your birthday was a while back. I'm like, wait a minute.
Thing is,
maybe I'm going crazy.
He was going to buy me one. I'd already had enough by the time he offered to do, because my birthday normally ends up the draft week. It's August.
Okay.
It's August 15th, and so he offered me one then, and I'm like, I don't really. We're headed out the door, and I don't want to. I'm going to have one when it's when I can enjoy it really instead of just slamming something back for the sake of doing it.
Okay.
And like
I feel like
starting off league with a car bomb or something like that would be amazing. I just haven't ever gotten there on time to do it, but the offer still stands, and so I'll still take a birthday shot in October. I don't give a shit.
You just said it. You know what we didn't do when we were in Wichita and we went to Dino's?
We didn't do our car bombs at Dino's. Didn't even think about it, but we were split up from. So yeah, we didn't do our car bombs.
What are we doing here?
At Dino's, I don't know.
What are we doing here?
Like even when I don't. It's just kind of funny that I only drink on Wednesdays now. Like for the show, and otherwise I don't have a whole lot. But it's still like even when we just stop drinking completely, we gotta have a car bomb at Dino's before we start any Wichita.
Oh, yeah. I only drink it every day that ends in a Y.
She's all sparkly.
She's got a I don't know what all this says, but yeah,
What?
it's not actually sparkly. It looks sparkly, but it's not. It just
Okay.
It says
It's just gold and
2024
silver.
tag, New Year's Invitational.
there you have it. That's what it was. My birthday's in 2 weeks. Well, is it on a Wednesday? Because we can party for you on a Wednesday. Because we're 2 weeks from now. We're back on the show.
Mhm.
Hi, everybody. Hi, oh, there's a John and Tiffany. Hi, Ray.
Hey.
Tell him you have a great name.
I have a great name and last name.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, at least the first name. The first name, my name. His name is Jonathan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
All right, let me finish up my show. Okay, love you. Say bye to everybody.
Police. My legs slay.
Whatever that said. Okay, bye. I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
Woo, she's a lot sometimes.
Vaporized to Vibo is a wild change. Yes, it is. It's Vaporize is incredible if the Vibo is too clean. Like they do shape very similarly and feel reminiscent of each other. It's just Storm has nothing that acts like Brunswick's shiny stuff, and especially something like the No Doubt core is the Zen core. It just is. It looks exactly the same. The numbers are almost identical too, but it's just not remotely close because Storm stuff is so much cleaner and it just doesn't see the lane and the oil nearly as well as the Brunswick stuff, and which is fine because a lot of the Storm stuff looks great on house shots because they're kind of drier, and most of the vast majority, like 98% of people out there bowl on house shots, so it's just fine. It just when it comes to actually getting stuff done, the Brunswick stuff just, especially the shiny stuff, like the solid stuff is kind of similar, but the shiny stuff is just on a different planet.
It's 2-2, by the way, now.
Oh, sweet. Thoughts on the Troublemaker series? They seem to be really good. They seem a lot like the Summit line, kind of.
Weren't those designed to be the two-handed bowls?
Yeah, they have the weird core where it depending on where you drill the fingers, you can do some different things. But
Jonathan Tiffany says he can identify as a Wednesday birthday boy.
Mm-hmm.
God. Oh, sorry. But yeah, I thought those were the two-handed balls. I see the comment. I have to say something. I'm sorry. That's just that had to be brought up.
Yeah. Or theorem. Like I've been ready for a long time for any other theorem. I don't even really care whether it's solid pearl. They could put out another hybrid. I don't care.
I'd actually like to see a theorem solid, personally.
A theorem solid would be nasty. It'd be like a kind of a bigger Envy Tour.
Yeah.
I think it would be very Envy Tour-ish.
As long as it doesn't slime up like my cover does on that theorem. We got to fix that. I need to bring that over on the spinner and work on that.
Yeah, we just need to hit the cover a little bit and get it back in good working shape. So does anybody have anything else? We got about 10 minutes here left on the clock, unless nobody has anything else, and then we can let y'all go. It's kind of funny. We've got at work, we've got meetings every once in a while, and one of the guys that's kind of facilitating We're getting some new software done, and so we're in talk. He's kind of the one that puts everything together, and it's kind of like the mediator or the go-between and whatever else. And so we'll schedule meetings to talk about stuff, and he'll schedule them for like an hour, and then we'll talk for like 3.5 minutes, and like, oh, there's nothing new today, so I guess we can just let you go and give you some time back in your day. Then he says it every single meeting. And so whenever we have a meeting that goes short, it's like, yeah, give you some time back in your day.
Give you some time back in your day. We appreciate that. Will you be doing the new Ethos and Rhino Pro?
Yeah. We get all the Brunswick stuff. So we haven't filmed. Jesse's getting the Ethos, and he was at a car show on Sunday, so we haven't filmed for him yet. Angel got the Rhino Pro. The Criterion's going up tomorrow. I got that video done, and the members have already seen it. It's already up for the YouTube members and the Discord members. And I'm going to go up now, and I'll turn the Royals game on, and I'll keep chopping up footage. So, yeah.
I'll tell you why that sign's not lit up, because he's a failure right now.
Because I have ADD.
He failed us. He's not going to Beer and Chili this weekend.
I've been behind. Yeah, I've been behind all day.
Failed us.
So
you
tiny sip of the.
You're not missing out on Beer and Chili this weekend, by the way. As much as I'm talking shit to you, it's going to be 90 degrees, and we're going to be pumping chili into our bodies.
Yeah.
Well,
that's been really weird, because sometimes it's like really hot out there, and we've had the freaking canopies out in the backyard, and then last year it was freaking freezing.
Rain.
And it was raining, and we had the canopies and crap up to shield us from the wind. Plus, we had the heaters going and all kinds of stuff. So
now the canopies are going to be up. We're going to be outside. It's not starting until 4:00. So if you get back in time, you still can go here if you want.
Yeah, we might, but we're going to be we're going to get to the air show about 12:30 or so, and then so we're going to walk around, get to walk through the planes, and then they have a show at 3, and then there's going to be some more other stuff and walking around. I'm sure that they'll have plenty of like food trucks and all kinds of other stuff. And then they have another show, a nighttime show with acrobats and fireworks and crap at like 8:00. So
yeah.
We're probably going to be busy the entire time. But if we happen to get out of there at a decent time, or if it's just too much or whatever else, yeah, we might come.
We were supposed to go to the air show. Advisors Excel had like a VIP thing for us. But once we scheduled Beer and Chili, we couldn't do that. Yeah, Jay Bird, ask the question if you got it, because we're getting ready to sign off here.
Yeah. Go ahead and ask it.
If you're jumping in,
Jay Bird was hanging out a lot in the my Sport Essentials stream.
Curtis L., what's up, man?
The other day. Yeah.
Yeah, if you got it, we'll give you time to type it.
Yeah, so the Stealth Solid's the Stealth Solid is the Pearl and the Hybrid so far have been. Angel doesn't really like the Hybrid, and the Stealth Pearl looks kind of weird. But the
that's fair, Devin.
Stealth Solid is good stuff. Yeah, the weather's better in Florida right now. True that.
What's an ideal layout for no thumb bowlers? I have strong layouts on I'm assuming on mine. I just feel like it's too much. Sorry.
I feel like it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been talking to Jesse about this too, because he drills a lot of he drills a lot of 4-inch pins, and it's like, well, that's like Riley, we filmed for some stuff for Riley. He had a free day on Sunday, so he came down because Angel drilled a Sub-Zero and Riley drilled a Sub-Zero the same day, and they just happened to be talking about it. So, we're going to go shoot for it tomorrow. And Riley's like, well, I don't have anything to do. And so he's got a 6-inch pin, Black Venom, and a Venom EJ. It's 6 inches is kind of wild.
Oh yeah,
that's what she said. But Jesse doesn't need to be drilling anything with 4-inch pins. He just doesn't, and it just puts the ball reaction in the wrong place for him, and so he's been having all kinds of issues. And so we're going to go 5 on the he's going to go 5 on the Ethos Hybrid and check that out and see what that works. And so really, you probably want to stay between the like 3 to 5 zone on the last number. You don't necessarily want to do anything too crazy there, but it's going to be in pin to pat, I think, is probably, I would say, one of the more important numbers. So just 5.5. Try a little bit longer pin. So if stuff's drilled too strong, I still like the 3 to 5 zone on the pin to cog or whatever. But yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think just longer pins. No, nothing under 5. I don't think.
How do you think the conspiracy will be on chromium? You make it changed on me. You make the pattern in the video look like house. Hard to read from that. It's definitely not house. I promise you that. It's definitely chromium because they're normal house pattern hooks. I promise.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the conspiracy looks great on chromium. So yeah, but yeah,
chromium's always a little wetter to closer to the gutter.
Yeah, and it's not quite it's a little forgiving. Like if you get it outside of 4, it's gone. But if you get it to like 4 to 6 at the break point, you're going to be in good shape. And the conspiracy is a strong ball, and it's a fairly sharp responding ball for how strong it is too. And so yeah, it's gonna, as long as I don't get it inside of 6 or 7, it's gonna look great. And it's even going to give me a little bit more towards the ditch too. So.
Now they're pumping in questions, and I've got to pee. Sorry.
Appreciate it. This is a layout on my Sublime Focus, 50 by 40 by 440. You mean 50 by 4 by 40, perhaps? But yeah, the 4-inch pin is I imagine that's a 4-inch pin in there somewhere, and yeah, 4-inch pin is just. It's just going to be too strong. So you want to be up for no thumb, especially having higher revs, especially if you're slower speed. You want to be in the 5.5 territory. So luckily, no thumb bowlers. It's not terribly difficult to redrill some stuff. So you might pick something you don't throw a whole lot anymore, or something that's just too strong, or maybe you want to throw it and it's like, okay, well, let's just redrill this and see what it looks like. So, yeah.
Luke, Jay Bird says, yeah, I definitely enjoy your content, Luke. I'm getting competitive with bowling, and you definitely have been a huge help on this journey. So,
yeah, well, you've been hanging out and been on the I recognize the name. I know that you were in the Sport Essentials stream pretty much the whole time the other day. So
good deal. Ken Fleming says, for old guys, vaporize is super for up the boards, but swing it and it's 10-pin city.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty clean. It's one of the cleaner big balls that Brunswick has, but it does a whole bunch down lane. What's 3 balls for league? First thing that comes to mind. If you're going shiny stuff, the Scorpion Strike's amazing, especially for the price. That's just crazy. The No Doubt is absolutely stupid. So that's a straight step up from the Scorpion Strike. And then I think like the Intense Mindset at the top is a good one, or the One Reverb. The One Reverb is nasty. And then for kind of solid stuff, or a little bit smoother stuff, the Hazmat Solid would be in the middle. I can't really think of anything on the weaker side, because the Scorpion Low Flare is a little wonky, and they don't have anything. They don't have any like super weak solids right now in any of the brands. Mesmerize is filthy. So you would probably have to go like to Storm for like a Hustle X-Ray. That one's really good. So it'd be like Hustle X-Ray, Hazmat Solid, and then something like an XL, maybe a little bit higher than that. Mesmerize, this new Criterion's pretty nice. You'll get a look at that tomorrow. Back in reaction for my optimum mileage seems to be non-existent during league. Is my layout too weak? 85 by 1/8 by 65. Is that what you meant by 1/8? That'd be crazy.
I've got to run to go to the bathroom real quick, unless we're signing off soon.
Yeah, I think we'll sign off here really quick.
Okay, I can wait then.
If that's actually 1/8, then yeah, that's a short pin, and so you're not going to have any back end, especially with an optimum idle. So, how should my pin look when I throw it? Should it stay centralized or should it be spinning? It should be spinning all over the place. If you see the pin, if you see the pin spinning at you, it's a short pin ball, and that's probably not going to do a whole lot. Did you see the bag Luis posted? Yeah, Zigzag Solid Phase AI and the new Raptor looks like that covers all the bases. The Zigzag Solid's kind of in an interesting place. We'll see that a bit later. Phase AI, if you have friction like they do in Vegas, then it should be fine. And that new Raptor is also crazy. I would like to see some of that Raptor. But yeah, the Zigzag Solid is a stronger ASIM ball, and the new Raptor is also a stronger ASIM ball. And then the Phase AI goes 80 feet, unless you have a ton of friction. So
Yep.
Anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and sign out. It is 8 o'clock. I've got some stuff to do. I've got more videos to make, and got a game to watch and snack to get. And Angel should be home in about an hour or so. So
This guy's got to go pee.
so yeah, that also. So we'll see everybody in a couple weeks, and that'll be right before we go to Tulsa.
Yeah, we can talk a little. We can talk a little prep for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Okie doke. Yeah, you might need a resurface and a little bit of TLC on the cover, because if it was hooking and now it's not, then yeah, you might just need a little bit of surface help. So, all right.